Dr. Pazorn's tendrils quivered with barely contained panic, which, to the untrained eye, resembled mild indigestion. He shuffled through a stack of plasmic data sheets, each glowing with damning evidence. Launch signatures, radio wave dispersals, electromagnetic leakage, all the cosmic equivalent of a child screaming into a haunted forest. Across from him, Krelvox reclined in a gelatinous chair, exuding the sort of apathy only centuries in government service could cultivate. His ocular nodes half-lidded, he jabbed a claw toward the report. "And you, Hick, want me to believe these mammals evolved from the failed purge, approximately 47,000 Zarniks ago? Zorn, be reasonable. That was a contracted operation. We outsourced to Zorblax Industries. They're accredited by the Galactic Oversight Standardization Accord. Very prestigious." "With respect, sir," Zorn hissed, a scent of burnt copper wafting from his pores. They missed. Entire species survived. They're building combustion-fueled vessels. They sent one beyond their gravity well. It has a plaque, sir, engraved with a map to their system. And before you ask, no, the automated monitoring buoys didn't catch it. Budget cuts mothballed them millennia ago, and maintenance claimed it was cheaper to assume the purge had worked. He slammed a datasheet onto the desk, which promptly stuck to the gooey surface and began to dissolve. Krelvox sighed, long and wheezy. "Do you know what it takes to open a retrospective termination file? I'd need Form 87X, in triplicate, then submit to the Compliance Oracle, which hibernates until next Zarnik's cycle. And if we admit fault," he shuddered, chitinous plates clicking. "Audits, Pazorn. Endless audits." Outside, the Office of Cosmic Affairs stretched in a sprawl of flickering hollow signs and forgotten memos orbiting like debris around a dying star. A distant janitor being attempted to mop a non-Newtonian corridor, only to be absorbed by it with a resigned squelch. Zorn leaned forward, desperation souring the air. "They're broadcasting pop music, sir. Population. It's only a matter of cycles before someone less lazy hears. We've violated the Dark Forest Directive by omission. We must act. A sterilization fleet, a small one even. Do you have any idea how expensive fleets are these days?" Krelvox moaned. "Budget's been slashed ever since the Glaxon incident. One planet exploded itself last quarter. We called it self-limiting. Very cost-effective." His gaze drifted to the flickering ceiling, lost in the fantasy of plausible deniability. "Sir," Zorn tried again, "if they continue, their signals will reach the VRAC consortium. VRAC. You know how they get when neighbors pop up unannounced. Their warforms liquefy continents for sport." Krelvox tapped a desk terminal. "Fine. Let's say we do something. We draft a memorandum. Circulate it. By then, the primates will have discovered warp drives. Or exploded. Statistically, it's 50-50. Why rush?" Pazorn deflated, several limbs going limp. "It's not about us anymore. If VRAC retaliates, we risk sector-wide destabilization. Entire civilizations wiped just because we couldn't fill out forms fast enough. Doesn't that trouble you?" A pause. Krelvox stared at a coffee mug declaring, "Galaxy's #1 mid-level manager," in 3 languages, none of which he spoke. His gaze shifted to the report, where a primitive human smiled beside a crude metallic craft. Voyager, it was labeled. The plaque bore directions, optimism, and oblivious arrogance. "They put music on it," he murmured. "Actual melodies? Gods, that's provocation." "Yes, thank you. So you'll authorize action?" Krelvox sighed again, deeply. I'll draft a strongly worded warning, to be reviewed at the next quarterly summit, possibly escalated to a focus group." Zorn sputtered. "That could take decades." "By then..." "Exactly." Krelvox stood, stretching his segments. "Problem for future us. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a lunch meeting with finance. They're serving gelatinous cubes. Love those." As he ambled away, Zorn slumped over the dissolving desk, watching as Earth's transmissions filled the void. Jazz, rock, speeches to the stars, signals rippling across space like breadcrumbs tossed into an alley of stray beasts. Ominous, but somehow still absurdly hopeful. Somewhere far beyond, in that indifferent darkness, something listened and smiled.